Hello there, Peter here. Welcome to this segment. If you were me, this COVID-19 lockdown has been pretty challenging, but it makes sense to find a way to have fun working at home. Look at that right there. I have to improvise. Got that stuff there to hold my laptop. I use it to keep the laptop when I want to stand up. Very light stuff. And worked out pretty good when I wanted to do some stuff standing up. By the way, those laptops weren't smashed. That was a slight of hand there. Just a little trick. The two laptops are okay, weren't damaged. And if you look at what's going on there, that's Logitech technology, two different cameras. These were old cameras. And that right there is the CD that came with them, indicating it's a very old software there, webcam software, meant for Windows XP and Windows 7. The owner of these two cameras kind of didn't want them anymore, and decided to sell them. And I went ahead and bought them. So what she has thought in this instance, I believe, it was that they don't work well anymore. And a lot of times, some users don't realize that if you don't have the most current driver for your devices, they may not work as well as you want. And sometimes the correct type of driver can make them work very well, like new ones. So that's the Logitech, I believe is the Pro 9000, Logitech webcam, Pro 9000. It's one of the older technologies that they've had out there. Not extremely old, but a little older than some of the current stuff there. And when you have this and you're using the same driver that it came up with, or you try to use the CD-ROM that came with it, you're going to be dealing with old software. So if you look at what is there at the bottom of the screen, that's contrast and resolution. Conan O'Brien and Martin Short. Look at the side-by-side comparison, and then the individual ones there. That's the difference in resolution when you use a high capacity and low capacity camera with different resolutions. It will give you the difference. Sometimes the lighting can also make a difference. So those are the two guys on TBS. During the quarantine period, they are talking. They're trying to video conference. They're actually video conference, not trying. They are video conference and having fun with it. But you can see the difference in the quality of the images, and that's why the technology is very important. Not only having a current one, but maintaining the old one. Sometimes it may not make sense to buy a new one when the old one can do exactly what you want, if you have the right device driver for it. Well, what I have done with this old technology, I keep calling them old, they're not that old. These technologies that I have acquired from somebody, those two cameras, what I've done was to go to the manufacturer's website and look for the device drivers for Windows 10. If I weren't an informed user, I would have tried to use the older Windows driver that came with the devices, and that would have been a problem for me if I'm running a Windows 10 computer. So over the years, as many users have noticed, these operating systems tend to evolve from one version to the other. We've had Windows XP, Windows 8.1, Windows 8, we have Windows 7, now we're dealing with Windows 10, and Windows 10 has had many release versions, and some versions were meant for enterprise use and some for individual use and some home editions. And some people may not know that, but Windows 10 have had at least 7 different builds and different versions, and each one has a different feature based on the use or based on the patchwork that has been done on it, maybe to patch security or to address some performance issues that have to do with the operating system. So when you have a new operating system and you try to run an old device and it's a plug and play, it may not necessarily perform as you want, especially if Windows hasn't loaded up the driver from the manufacturer. This will require you to go to the manufacturer's website and look for the device driver for your device, and that will minimize the headache that you will be getting when you try to use your device. So for these 2 devices, the Logitech Pro 9 Logitech HD webcam C310 and Logitech webcam Pro 9000. I had to do that. I had to go and look for the right device drivers on the Logitech website. I went to www.logitech.com, and that's what is it there. I'm trying to put a hand sanitizer, wash my hand with that because I've touched my face. Makes sense to pay attention to all those things they've been telling us about COVID-19 and making sure we don't get infected, or when we touch some surfaces, make sure that we sanitize ourselves, wash our hands. And the idea of touching faces, nose or mouth, eyes, it's kind of a hard idea to resist. We tend to do that a number of times a day. But back to what I was talking about. So these 2 devices, Logitech Webcam Pro 9000 and Logitech HD Webcam C310, the device drivers that they came with, especially as embedded on the CD-ROM here, is a dead giveaway of when they were produced. So these products came out when those operating systems, or prior to those operating systems being pushed in the market. Windows XP and Windows, what was that previous version? Windows 7. Windows 7 came after Windows 8 and Windows 8.1. The manufacturer there listed Windows XP and Windows 7, didn't list Windows 8 and Windows 8.1, which means the products were manufactured prior to release of Windows 8 and Windows 8.1, and now we have Windows 10. So that tells you how old they are. I would say probably at least 10 years. So there I was trying to look at the best way to get them to work, and I think I plugged one of them there to see how it's going to come up. And when I switch cameras, I realized that they are the same qualities with the camera that the laptop computers came with. They are not that different in terms of resolution, especially one of them. I believe is the Pro Cam, the Webcam Pro 9000. The HD webcam, I think, has a higher resolution there than the other one. So I had to go to the manufacturer website, www.logitech.com/support, and then look for the device driver. I downloaded the manual, but I probably don't have the use for it. So I downloaded the driver for each one of them. And if you look at there, that's the picture of the webcam 310, the Logitech HD webcam 310. Right there is showing you the resolution there, the highest resolution HD 720, and the other one there, webcam Pro 9000, two of them. I'll show there on the screen. So the manufacturer website have the most current device driver for both devices, and I took some time to download them and install them on these laptops. So when I'm on a video conference, I can either use the laptop cameras or switch to either one of these. They will serve me well. I actually have a more current Logitech product, but when this deal came out, I wanted to snag it right away, get two of them at a very cheap price, and make them work like new. So now I have more than one, and each one of them will serve my purpose. So right there, if you see what I'm doing, I'm kind of tweaking it and playing around with it to see what the resolution is going to be and the quality. Let's see the best quality I can get from the ones I plugged in. And after that, I went into the manufacturer website to look for it. So there, I'm plugging in one of them there. And once I plugged it in, I'm gonna try to switch between the laptop camera and the plugged in camera. As I said, it's plug and play. Once you plug it in, the computer recognizes, but you do have to go to camera app to switch. Sometimes because it's Windows 10 computer, it will automatically pick up the external one that you plugged in. Sometimes you do want to check to make sure that it has switched, and then switch it yourself, and you can switch between two cameras to see the quality. If the quality of your laptop camera is better than the one you're plugging in, the quality of the one you're plugging in, it makes sense to stick with the laptop camera when you are video conferencing. So I looked at some of what the two devices can give to the user. If you are using the Logitech HD Webcam 310, you are able to choose between auto and manual focus for webcams that support the feature, and this, I believe, is one of those ones that do that. Newer cameras do a lot of stuff, but when you look at these older ones, they do most of that stuff as well. It's not a whole lot of difference in them, and for most people, these old ones will do just fine because they can see themselves very clearly and see the other person or other people in the other end. That's all they need. So these are, before you end up spending money you don't need, make sure that you understand your need. If you don't need any sophisticated video production, you don't really need to buy all these high-end video cameras when the basic ones can do. For instance, if you are video conferencing with family members or some friends, and you can just get basic pictures fine, you can see everybody. You don't need a whole lot of stuff and features and all these bells and whistles they mention that do not make sense but sound very, very impressive and technical. So normally when you are in the Logitech.com website, you'll be able to get manual on how to use these websites, use video cameras to be able to enjoy the experience. So if you look at what is happening there, I have plugged in one of the cameras, and this, once I switch, you can see from the manufacturer website, I've downloaded the device driver, and it's showing me what the image will look like. It's showing me a sample there. Normally when you download the device driver and install and run it, it will prompt you to plug back the camera in question if you haven't, and that's what it did. And once I saw that prompt, I plugged it back in. And what we're looking at there, what we have there on the screen is, let me see, I believe it's the Logitech Webcam Pro 9000. That's the one there that I'm working on. If you look at the screen, let's look at the quick capture action there, and the webcam only. So you choose which option you want to view, and it's going to show you how it works. So there I'm trying to download the device driver, the Windows 10 based device driver, to leverage the newer features that might be coming with this old device. So pretty good stuff to do when you have when you have one of these older ones lying around. So, and those are the two laptops. Trying to multitask, working on both of them simultaneously. I hate when things take too long, so I try as much as I can to multitask. You know, so that's what's going on there. And in terms of the two, there is one feature that the Pro 9000 have, which I believe the C310 may or may not have. I haven't looked at those details. There's a feature called Follow My Face. Follow My Face. If you download the software and you run the hardware camera from the software you've installed, you see the Follow My Face feature, which means you don't actually manually need to adjust the camera. When you move your face, it will follow it and capture your face, but not when you're hiding. So right there you see the screen, a sample for the other one as well. That's the how it's capturing the different images in the living room. It's not as clear as I want, because I'm not actually I'm not actually sharing the main screen of the laptop, but it's pretty distinct enough to see that it's showing the actual picture from the plugged-in camera. So I'm viewing that now to see what it will look like as opposed to the camera from the laptop. So what I'm videotaping there is the workstation I set up there, the makeshift table right there, very light and portable. I love it. And, I can just grab it and in a fraction of a second set it up and sit the laptop on it. And yeah, I wanted them to buy me one of those Varidesks for my office, and I got a no for that. I was meant to think I asked for too much, I could have asked for a private jet, but that's okay. I can always improvise. So that's the Logitech. That's the webcam C310 there. That's the manual that came with it. So a number of what they talked about there have to do with the older operating system, but you can always skip and look for more relevant information when you are trying to find out what works for you. So the when you go to their website, you will see a number of those newer cameras, a number of them, which you may or may not need based on your need. If you're doing web streaming or just doing a webcam, they have a number of things that you may need there for those kinds of things. Compare that with the Logitubo. If you go to logitubo.net, www.logitubo.net, they have an equivalent set of devices like Logitech, Logitubo, TUBO. Not a whole lot of people know about them as a company, but they also produce webcam. A number of companies produce this, but sometimes, like in the personal computing, one company dominates the market. PC have dominated personal computing. By PC, I mean Microsoft. So I think Logitech have dominated this market, but Logitech also is competing, and there are a number of them there that are competing as well. Logitech has a number of them, like Logitech 960F, which HDR for Pro USB webcam. They have one with full HD, 1080p video quality, low light correction. When the light is low, you can easily adjust it so it appears brighter where you sit. It can monitor level of HDR technology, and uses the H2.264 compression and encoding. It's a very current algorithm, and you can actually replace your video background when using this particular camera. That's the Logitech 960AF HDR Pro USB camera. So there are a number of them. They have the Logitech C 920 webcam for Xbox streaming HD 1080 webcam with up to 3 megapixels, and they have Logitech streaming autofocus webcam HD 1080p, and many more. And what these newer ones have, the others don't have, is the ability to use a replacement background on a number of things. Sometimes you don't actually need that. So that's the website for Logitech, not Logitech. We've been talking about Logitech for some time. I believe that's Logitech, but on a closer look, it might be different. No, that's actually Logitech. Still trying to download the device drivers for that for those two cameras. I think I'm working on the second camera there. That will be the Webcam 310. The other one with hollow handle is the Webcam Pro 9000, and that's the 310 there. So when you go to the website there's a number of things. So what I'm scrolling through there is the manual. That's the manual for Logitech HD Webcam 310. They have the manual for each of those devices on their website. That's the picture there. And that's the installation process. Once you download it and start to install, it's common sense. You just follow the prompts there and complete your installation. So after the installation, what I'm trying to do there is test it. I'm looking for the camera app, I believe. I'll try to see how it's going to work. And there, that box is back there again, the dialog box, and that's the software. After installation, I go to all programs from the start button, and I can select the new software. The name of the camera is there, Logitech Webcam 310, and once I click it, it will pop up and gives me the screen there to do a quick capture or do a webcam. So that's a way to test the device. So once you install it, your computer will have it on a start button. So sometimes some people do not know that they have to take this extra step when using older devices. Because it's plug and play, they assume that the capability they're getting is all that the device can offer. But it makes sense to get the newest device driver and the newest software from the manufacturer. Today I'm trying to work on the next one. That will be the Webcam Pro 9000 right there. The Logitech Webcam Pro 9000. Each one of these came with the manual for it. I like the way the handle is constructed. It makes it easy to latch it on top of your computer and position it for your convenience. And it's amazing the level of audio quality that you get even for some of these older devices. So what this Webcam Pro 9000 can offer you is that you can actually create your own custom video mask. Hopefully, I haven't explored that, but I'm assuming, based on their claim, that you can do that. When you're working with the software, you can select a number of effects. You can do photo thumbnails, video thumbnails to use with your video that you want to publish or share with someone or preserve for family storage. So that's the Pro 9000 there, the quick cam. After the installation, that's the website there. And I believe that's the download. Once the software is downloaded, we're going to install it and then run it like the other one to see how it's going to behave and the features that it will offer. So it's all about image resolution and high quality, so that what you're trying to convey with the pictures and image are very clear and visible. As I said, everybody's need is different. They vary. You don't have to have the most sophisticated one for what you need. But it makes sense to be an educated or informed consumer, so you can select one that's for your need, whether it's basic, intermediate, or advanced need. And that's the support website there. You get the support, you have the get started page, and there you can download the software for that camera. And when I do, I'm amazed at the quality I'm getting for the older device. They work like new. The image is clearer, the resolution is awesome, a lot of features that rivals the features you see in even their most current technology. Pretty awesome, pretty awesome. And I think the download is taking a little longer by the start. But while that is happening, we've been talking about image and resolution and quality. What is this resolution? That's it's the detail an image holds, the details you want to see. That's the resolution. The more detail you get from your image, the clearer it becomes. And that's the download going on there. And I'm going from tab to tab to see the different provisions and resources on Logitech website. It says welcome. That's the installation process, and the animation there is telling me to plug in the camera of which the software I'm installing. So they made it so easy. I love it. The animation is telling me what to do, and I'm going to plug it. Once I plug it, it's going to recognize it and show what the image will look like once it's running the software. So we've been talking about resolution being more about detail and image holds. And we're going to see that shortly, how much of detail the image from this camera will hold for us. The higher the resolution, the more image detail we get. And based on use, it can be measured in different ways. So you see there, I'm following the prompt provided by the manufacturer to do the installation. The installation is processing there. That's why it's giving me that progress bar to tell me that the installation is taking place. So resolution can be described as how close lines are to each other and still be visibly resolved. And the resolution units can be tied to physical sizes. It can be lines per millimeter or lines per inch. That's why when you see number of pixels, resolution unit we often see in pixels. So you can see resolution in pixels, you can see that in millimeters or per inch. So that's it there. I plugged in, just checking the settings, and you can see it's capturing the images depending on how I position the camera. Is capturing the images in the room as I rotate the camera neck across the room. Tells me there software is installed, mission accomplished for that one. The HD webcam C10, I believe. No, that's the Pro 9000. Where is it? Right there. So we have the same kind of page again where you can do quick capture or webcam gallery. So that's me right there. It's the room is dark a little bit, so it's not necessarily showing my face very well, but it's showing me from my point of view, it's showing me a very clear, high resolute picture. You know, high compared to what it supposedly was before I installed the software for it and used the newer device drivers from Windows 10 as opposed to the older ones for Windows XP and Windows 7. Just see right there across the room, the image is capturing. No lighting there, so it's a little dark, but it's still impressive. So if I have it and I do not manually want to rotate my camera at a reasonable angle, I can move my face and it will follow my face. And that's the Logitech support website again. Right there, we're going to try to bring it up after installation to see what it's going to do for us. So the higher the pixel, the better picture quality. So today we talk about megapixels, which is number of pixels that you get. Millions of pixels means megapixels. Mega means millions. So we can get up to 2 or 3 megapixels based on the capability of each camera here. The number of newer cameras that have upwards of 20 or more megapixels, and the details are pretty obvious, but with this I can see as much detail as I want to see for the images. So a pixel is a physical point in a raster image. It's the smallest addressable element in an all points addressable display device, whether that display is your monitor, your laptop computer, desktop computer, all in one computer, your smartphones or smart tablets. The smallest controllable element of a picture represented on the screen, that's the pixel. They're controllable because you can adjust the quality, reduce the number of pixels, or increase the number of pixels. When you increase the number of pixels, you get higher quality. When you decrease the number, you get lower quality. The intensity of each pixel is variable. They can vary. When it comes to color imaging, the color is typically represented by 3 or 4 intensities, such as red, green, and blue, or cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So these, when combined, gives us a color combination that produces these images. Sometimes pixels can refer to a pixel can refer to a single scalar element of a multi-component representation called photo sight in a camera, sensor context. It may also refer to the set of component intensities for a picture. So I'm trying to log back in there to that laptop. So when it comes to computer graphics, I mentioned raster image before. Means the same thing as a bitmap image. A bitmap image is a dot matrix data structure that represents a generally rectangular grid of pixels, which are viewable on your monitor, or when you print the paper, you see the evidence of that. A bitmap image is a rectangular grid of pixels, which with each pixel's color being specified by a number of bits. It sounds too technical, but just when you have time, look it up yourself and try to inform yourself about these things. So when you make your decision in terms of purchase, you will know exactly what you are getting. And when somebody mentions a resolution or pixels, you will know exactly what they're talking about and what it means for your device. So that's the CD that came with it. That's the X mark there, telling me, basically indicating it's done. It's no longer usable because not running Windows XP or Windows 7. There are people that are still run Windows 7 at this point in time, which is not advisable because it is vulnerable. Windows do not release security patch for Windows 7 anymore, so anybody running that is risking malware and harm to their computer and possibly a network if it's a workplace. Last time I saw on a TV screen the Gifford County Schools computer actually running Windows XP, and it has an error message there telling them that Windows XP is no longer supported. And somebody was running that overnight. That can actually harm the entire network if an attacker finds a vulnerability there and gets into the network. So wrapping it up there, that's my device. You see how it quickly it collapses to the floor. You can use it to hang clothes, but right here it's serving a different purpose for me. Talk about improvising. So it locks up. Once you lock it, it has a latch there that you can lock, and it stands up by itself like that. Pretty solid but light. I like light stuff when things are light. You see how it collapses to the floor. Pretty easy to collapse it, and adjustable in width, and I carry that like a ladder, and that's it. Thanks for watching.